Hello guys, my name is Tuomas, this is Sound of Free, and this video is gonna be the first part in hopefully in a series. So my idea with this one is to review shows that I've witnessed with my own bare eyes. And the thing is, a lot of these shows are shows from years back, so my memories might be a little bit hazy, but some of them I remember better and some of them maybe not so much. But what I am going to do with this one, I'm gonna tell you what I do remember about them. And also some other stuff sort of surrounding that era or that, whatever, thing of that particular artist. I'm gonna start off with Beach Boys things, but then there's probably going to be other artists too, like, I don't know, Bruce Springsteen or Leonard Cohen or, Peter Gabriel. Artists like these that I've, seen perform. But we are gonna start off with a really cool one. I just mentioned in a recent video that this might be my all-time favorite concert by anybody. And we are talking about the Beach Boys 50th anniversary tour, reunion tour in 2012, and particularly a show that I saw, the only show that I saw live was in London, and this was 28th of September, Wembley Arena. So they played 27th, so the evening before, at Royal Albert Hall, which is a phenomenal concert venue, very old classy building, and the show was very similar over there to the Wembley one. I think they played 2 songs more on the Royal Albert Hall show, but otherwise it was pretty much the same set list. Samuel Gone was in a different position, but otherwise it was very close. With these 2 shows they wrapped up the whole tour, and these 2 shows mark the last times that Brian Wilson played with the Beach Boys, as of now at least, which is probably going to be the sort of solidified answer, sadly. But yeah, they went out with a high note, and for me personally, I categorize, or in my eyes, the Beach Boys are Beach Boys when there is a Wilson brother playing in the lineup. So, in the late 70s, early 80s, Dennis was fired a few times, so he wasn't there, he missed a lot of shows. Brian has been out of the group many times, the touring group, many times starting from 64, and even Carl was out of the group in the early 80s, and Dennis and Carl obviously both have been out of the group after their passings. So in my eyes, the Beach Boys are the real Beach Boys when there is a Wilson brother performing in the lineup. So, that's my sort of categorization. I know the Beach Boys are still playing the Beach Boys, but let's not dive into that whole debacle. But anyway, I'm gonna start off this rambly review of mine by just reading the set list, because it's a very lengthy one. If I'd go through with each of these songs and give you my thoughts and what I remember of them, because I actually do remember quite a lot of these, and it has helped me that there's actually somebody in the concert audience filmed the whole thing with a sort of pocket camera, so you see the faces and you see and hear everything. And the quality is really bad, but I enjoy that recording a lot more, so much more than the actual official 50th anniversary live album, because the official live album sounds nothing like the actual performance. And I think that whoever did that, I'm eternally grateful for you if you're watching this. There's 55 songs, and the concert, there was like almost 3 hours of music. It's pretty crazy. Anyway, let's start this eternal list. Do It Again, Little Honda, Catch a Wave, Hawaii, Don't Back Down, Surfing Safari, Surfer Girl, Please Let Me Wonder, This Whole World, Wendy, Get Ya Back, Then I Kissed Her, You're So Good to Me, Kiss Me Baby, Isn't It Time, Come Go With Me, Why Do Fools Fall in Love, When I Grow Up to Be a Man, Dance, 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 Darling, Disney Girls, 1957, It's Okay, Cotton Fields, Be True to Your School, Ballad of Old Betsy, Don't Worry Baby, Little Do Scoop, 409, Shut Down, I Get Around, and then there was an intermission, and then set 2 starts off with Pet Sounds, Add Some Music to Your Day, Sail on Sailor, Heroes and Villains, I Just Wasn't Made for These Times, California Dreamin', California Saga, California, In my room, oh this is that, that's why I got me the radio, Summer's Gone, Forever, God Only Knows, Sloop John B, Wouldn't It Be Nice, Good Vibrations, California Girls, All Summer Long, Help Me Rhonda, Rock and Roll Music, Do You Wanna Dance, Surfing USA, and then the encore with Kokomo, Barbara Ann, and Fun Fun Fun. So, you know, pretty crazy set list. This one and well, the Royal Albert Hall set list was even a tad better because they include, I think they played Still Cruisin', and then maybe some other tune that they didn't play here. But yeah, anyway, pretty crazy. They basically played all of the songs that they played throughout that whole tour on these two shows. And the one new song that they did was Summer's Gone. They didn't play those anywhere else. And that performance was amazing. Well, we'll get into that. Anyway, the thing with this set list is that it's complete. They played from basically almost every one of their albums at least one song. I know they skipped, I don't know, 2 or 3 studio albums, but from most of their albums there is a tune or two, which is super cool because they included also very high, like deep cuts, very sort of random songs, which probably most of the audience hadn't heard ever before. So it was actually very brave, and they really. This is the only time they ever did something like this, or they even could do something like this. This sort of career-spanning show, which celebrated their whole existence in the music business, which makes it super special. But opening the show with Do It Again, I found it, they did this throughout the whole tour, I found it really genius because they usually open up with California Girls, which I don't think is the best opener because it's sort of kind of chill. But opening instead with Do It Again, and especially with that hard drum beat, when John Cowsill started to do that drum beat, I can witness with my own ears that it was the hardest rocking thing ever. It was so much more harder and rocky, heavier than anything you'd ever hear in a heavy metal concert. It was phenomenal. It was so loud and it broke your eardrums, and it was just so amazing because he played that beat for, I don't know, like with that introduction and everything, it lasted like 7 minutes or something, so it was so freaking cool. And Brian got the biggest applauses when he came to the stage, and I have a picture over here from that show. It wasn't taken by me. I purchased the license for a few concert photos of Brian Wilson and Beach Boys shows that I've seen, and this is one of them. I just wanted to add it over here to behind so you can kind of like see what Brian looked like. I wanted to actually buy licenses because I wanted to print these for myself to frame if I want to. With like the rest of the guys, I wanted to have a picture with the rest of the guys too, but there actually wasn't like a good group photo available in that stock photo site that I found these. So, you know, I wanted to choose this one because Brian had the biggest and the most confident smile. I was so scared. I was there with my mother, and I remember saying to her many times prior to the show that, you know, the show is going to be super amazing if Brian is having a good night and good day. You know, if he's doing good, the show is going to be amazing because the rest of the guys are solid. You know what you're gonna get from the rest of the members, but if Brian is not having a good day, it will reflect to the whole sort of experience very highly. And it was really, the circumstances coming to the show were not the best because just before, like, I don't know, I think it was like a day or two before, there had been that big announcement that Feels Like Being Fired, you know, Brian and Al, and, you know, they were like with Mike, the group had split like this. It was all over the media that, you know, this is the end. Like, really, this is going to be the last show, because up until the London shows, it was sort of up in the air whether they're going to continue it or not. But just before that show, the Wembley show, it was released to the public that, no, this is it. And Brian with Al and then Mike, they were just, you know, it was really horrible. So I was really scared for the show, how it was going to go. And to see Brian coming to stage and sitting behind his piano and giving this smile was like, oh, it was I remember the feeling. It was like, yes, like, he's good, and, you know, everything is good, and we're gonna enjoy. It's gonna be a great night, and the feeling was just amazing, and the whole audience felt that because it just landed, like that emotion landed to everybody, and everybody stood up, and everybody stood up and danced and jumped and clapped all throughout the whole first set up until at least Disney Girls. I remember that Disney Girls was the first song, and it's like the song 21, so 21st track of the whole, first set. Almost at the end of first set, that people sat down the first time. The whole audience. I was at the sort of the ground level, but the whole audience was just going crazy at the first 20 songs. It was amazing. Brian was just so great. I've never seen. I saw Brian then I think like 5 or 6 times after this show too with his solo stuff, but he was never as good as he was on this show. He was just on fire. The thing is, you cannot even really see that on the sort of the audience recording because the quality is what it is. But the thing is, Brian was singing and playing the piano throughout the whole freaking concert, and he was so happy. Like, he was smiling all the time, and he was singing like right from Do It Again. I've seen clips from the show, from the tour, from Do It Again, for example, where he didn't do anything. He was just sitting there. Like, and he sang just the bare minimum that he had to do. But not this night. He was singing all of the freaking background harmonies, everything, right from the get-go up until the last song. He was playing the piano all the time and constantly sort of like waving to the audience or doing, things like smiling to the audience and stuff like that. He was just on fire. And he sounded really good. And he also did a lot of the sort of the falsetto parts and the high notes, but the thing is, Jeff Foskett was sort of the main guy to do those parts that Brian did in his in the 60s and stuff, those original parts that he sang on the recording. So Jeff was there to do those, and that was his job, and he did a fine job on that. But on several occasions, like on this show, Brian decided that he wanted to do those too. So they basically sang a lot of those high parts together. So anyway, so you heard Jeff and Brian doing both sort of simultaneously, like on Please Let Me Wonder or Good Vibrations, or many songs really. So Brian was singing the high parts. But anyway, like, the whole show was just phenomenal. Mike was super cool looking. He had this sort of silver suit jacket. This sort of, like, he looked like he came from space. I don't know. But he looked really cool, and Al was cool, and Bruce was being Bruce, and David was super cool. And I just felt that set list was perfect. The way it carried emotions and momentum. It just could not have been better. And there was a few songs I think that I wasn't familiar with at this show, because this was in like the relatively beginning of my fandom, my hardcore fandom of the Beach Boys. Most of the songs I was familiar with, and I was so excited that they actually played a lot of tunes from Holland and Caught in the Passions and Forever. Hearing that whole section in the second set, starting from All This Is basically In My Room, which is a heavy song, then All This Is That, then That's Why Got Me to Radio, which I loved that whole album, and the inclusion of Isn't It Time and the title track, and then that followed with Summer's Gone was just jaw-dropping. It was so freaking amazing. When they announced that they are gonna do Summer's Gone, I was like, what? Like, I couldn't believe it, because I hadn't checked the set list from the evening before, and they hadn't done Summer's Gone a single time before Royal Albert Hall. So I was just floored. It was so freaking amazing. And I remember getting so emotional during that one. But anyway, then that was followed with Forever, and it was just the perfect tribute for Dennis, because it was so classy. The way they played the backing track and did the harmonies, and I remember Brian just like looking straight to the screen where they played the, Dennis singing the song, and you could hear Dennis's voice, and then you saw those pictures. It was very emotional. Brian looked at the screen during that, and God Only Knows, which was, then followed after Forever. It was like a super heavy section of that show, and I mean, a lot of people were crying there. It was really emotional. And then we'd sort of go into the uplifting part with Sloop John B. And I love the way they played Sloop John B and Wouldn't It Be Nice on that tour, because Wouldn't It Be Nice was sort of like, there was just this straight cut during Sloop John B to Wouldn't It Be Nice. And it was super cool. It worked so well and the audience was just going crazy. I don't know what else really to say about it. It was just a perfect show. Here's the tour program. It was super cool at the end when Brian took the bass and sort of played the bass for a moment. And then there was a few parts. I loved it when they did That's Why I Got Made the Radio. Brian was actually doing the sort of the wave your hand thing, you know. He waved his hand and gave us rock and roll. So I thought it was kind of, it was hilarious that Brian was sort of playing the god of the song, like waving the hand. It was very fitting. I really loved that. That was a funny moment. And I think during this whole world, when there's that I see love part, he sort of pointed to Mike, his Mike laughs. I thought that was hilarious. So there were like these little moments throughout the show that were just really amazing. But anyway, here's the tour program that I got from the show. This is if you can get this from eBay or somewhere, you really need to buy it because it's really amazing. First of all, it looks amazing. Here's the back cover. Really cool. I think this is one of the earliest shots of the group. And this is super cool. You got like a illustration of Hawthorne over here, and then this thing is just and the backing group, like it's so great to have them represented over here. And I think it's cool that Brian is credited for vocals, piano and bass. That's super cool. You know, John Cowsill, I think John was their best drummer after Dennis. Like, I just really loved his style. I thought he brought so much energy to that lineup, and really dug his style. It's a shame that he isn't playing with them anymore. Jeffrey was super cool. Scott Tutton, obviously, and Nicky Wonder. It was basically the Brian Wilson band with a few members from Mike's touring group. So, you know, it was just amazing. And basically the tour program then sort of shows pictures from each of their sort of eras. It is just a super cool thing. Sort of rare photos too. And I love the sort of the middle section where they introduce all the members from the sort of the 70s era. So you got like Brian with that amazing rock god robe. Mike looks cool. And then there's Carl and Dennis. And then there's Bruce and Al. And I don't think David's included, or is he? Nope. David wasn't included. That's weird. But anyway, like a lot of cool pictures over here. Yeah. I think that's the best look that Brian ever had. That late 70s with the Adidas and the beard. Giving the double thumbs up. It's super cool. And then everybody's favorite, the 80s. Oh yeah. This is really something. Okay. And then this one I gotta show you. This one too. Al with the mullet on the left, and then the classic Summer of Love. Oh yeah. And then I love it because then we end up with the 2000s, everybody together, looking healthy and happy. And then we got pictures from like the Beach Boys monument, and then from the reunion tour. Brian and Mike at the rehearsals. There's Al and Brian at the rehearsals. Really cool stuff. So, you know, if you can find this, you really need to pick it up. It's super cool. And I also actually did this to myself. This is the thing that you can see on YouTube. You know, whoever recorded it, eternally grateful for you. I need to do a cover art for it, but I basically uploaded it for myself, and I did this sort of Blu-ray presentation of it. So edited it a little bit to make it a bit more sort of visually interesting, added some photographs and stuff to some of the sections where the camera is going crazy, and then did this interactive menu. So it's super cool because it has all the tracks, so like, it's very easy to just put this to your player, and then just if I want to, you know, hear or check out some of the tunes, I can fastly really find them, and then I printed these labels to it. So I really love it, but I need to do a sort of cover art for it someday too. But anyway, this is just a hint for the Beach Boys managers. If you are watching this, why not put it out officially? Well, anyway, it was just a wonderful time and a great freaking show. If you were there, I would love to know your thoughts of it in the comment section below. Hopefully see you soon on the next video. Take care. Bye bye.